is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and sort of like you, even on a Heat report in my Ask Ira, I'm getting a lot of Dolphins-related stuff, so it just shows you how the two things overlap. And a matter of fact, the first thing I wanted to talk about...
But isn't it ridiculous? Isn't it ridiculous for any Dolphin to poo-poo a dominating win over the Patriots when you didn't even play your best game, which is actually a great sign, but whatever.
It is, and again, here's the big deal, because you and I have been through this. You've covered the Dolphins for decades, you've covered the Heat for decades. The difference is, in basketball, even the greatest win or the luckiest win is one of 82. It's a small thing. We overreact all the time because that's what we do on talk shows, on podcasts, and I get that.
Hey, listen, when the big three were hot, we would be pissed when they would struggle with the Sixers or the Magic or whatever, and we were like, yo, in that 27-game winning streak, there were many games that they would fall behind 15, 20 points, and then, hey, let's turn it on, and boom, let's go win the game. And it was frustrating. But you can kind of act like that because you're in the Shula run with the Dolphins. Your standard is at another level. Dolphin fans can't be at that level.
And the difference is, Big O, is this. Even those shaky Heat wins, those questionable Heat losses were one of 82. There was perspective. Even the Bulls, when they had Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, lost to Rex Chapman in the nobody Heat because
39 points.
But in football, it's one of 17. It's important. No matter how you do it, it's important. For example, I'm a Giants fan because I'm an idiot. And yes, the Tennessee missed the field goal at the end, and the Giants got lucky. It was a typical Giants meltdown. But you know what? With Dak going down yesterday and the division being craptastic, except maybe for outside of the Eagles, you take your win and you move forward. So Dolphins fans, think about all the times in the uneven times when one more victory would have meant a playoff berth. One more victory. Well, maybe that's yesterday's victory. And maybe there were moments that weren't perfect, but who gives a rat's ass? Because I'd rather be the team that walked off the field in Tennessee with the other team missing a field goal with a W than a team with an L. I mean, enough of this team getting an L and saying, but we played well. Come on. That's what we heard here for years. That's Cam Cameron level stuff. Oh, we played well. We're growing as a team. We're failing forward. That was it, right? We're failing forward.
Failing forward fast.
Yeah. It just, so you take the win and you move on. Here's the difference. And the Heat are very good at this, Big O, and you learn from it. But I'd rather learn from a W than learn from an L. Were there shaky moments there? Absolutely. Do some things have to be tightened up? For sure. But better to do it after a W. Better to do it after sort of where you are and where you're going. So, you know what? If you don't enjoy that, you only get 17 bites at regular season joy. It's not like the Heat, where you can leave the arena going, we got the Wizards again tomorrow. We'll be fine. So I think anyone who's sort of poo-pooing what happened, well, that's just your own little miserable life. And stop listening to the Big O Show then, or maybe not, something like that.
Well, I'm trying to bring them into the reality of enjoy it, man. This was a heck of a win yesterday. And how about this? You now own the Patriots, dude. I mean, you had Belichick so flustered, the dude came in here 5 days earlier than the game just to try to see if his team could get acclimated. That guy's trying everything to beat the Dolphins, and Tua and the team are 4-0 in their last 4 meetings. I mean, come on, dude. Be happy.
Exactly. And it was funny because my Ask Ira today at sunsentinel.com, I was asked whether the Heat can emulate the Dolphins' speed. And how many years has it been since anyone asked if the Heat could emulate anything about the Dolphins? So not only did they win, not only is there encouragement, but they have a really neat style. I mean, what we saw from Tyreek Hill and from Waddle out there and what they did, I don't think the Heat will ever play a breakneck game. But you know what? Oh, there's only one thing better than winning. Winning and having fun. And there were fun moments in that game yesterday.
No doubt about it. All right, let's switch gears here. This weekend, Tim Hardaway got his due. He got into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. I watched the speech. I watched the entire thing. Not everybody else, but especially
I'm like you. I was so happy Tim went first. A year ago, Chris Bosh went last. And I was listening through speech after speech after speech. I mean, when you have like 14 people going in, it becomes interminable. So thank you, NBA. Alonzo Mourning opened the ceremony with a beautiful tribute to Bill Russell. Immediately after Tim Hardaway went up, kept it short, 10 minutes, offered his thanks off the stage. Click, I went to football. It was a good Saturday.
No doubt. Now, the only thing that I don't know, I'm just kind of wondering, the Heat presence wasn't on the stage. And I just was like, it was kind of, if I ever run into Tim again, I'm going to say, yo, man, what happened here? Because I get it. Run TMC was awesome and everything else, but your major success came with the Heat. The stuff that probably put you into the Hall of Fame was the Heat, because they were serious wins, that you made some deep runs, you had a hell of a team, all that stuff. I just, the lack of Heat presence on the stage, kind of, I saw it a little shady, Ira. So what can you enlighten me on this?
No, I agree with you, Big O. Not only that, but the fact that Pat Riley wasn't even there. Now, you never know family emergencies and things. We don't know that. And the Arisons weren't there. And again, Mickey tends to spend this time of year in the Mediterranean and comes back. But I'll tell you this. This is when it's going to become noticeable. Next year, Dwayne Wade goes into the Hall of Fame. I think anyone and everyone connected to the Miami Heat will be in the building. They won't all be up on stage with him, but they will all be in the building. And again, this goes back to what I spoke to you on Friday in our Acura Pembroke Pines report. The lack of respect for the start of this team's history still is something that troubles me. This will be the Miami Heat's 35th season. To a degree, it's almost as if the first 15 years or so never existed. Yeah, and
you're right about
troubling. That. Again, Alonzo was there. Keith Askins was there, a real heart. Maybe the start of Heat culture was there. And I just, like you and I spoke about it, whether it's a Heat Hall of Fame, statues, bobbleheads, or whatever, it just seems like too much of the start of this team gets overlooked. That when you look at the jerseys from the rafters, it's Zoe and it's Hardaway, players who were, with this team in 2000 and moving forward, but nothing there before. Again, I don't know Pat Riley's personal life. He might have had something pressing. That's not for me to say. The Heat did have a lot of really good people there. Eric Spoelstra was there. Andy Ellisberg was there. Adam Simon, the front office, is represented. But you're absolutely right. And I think that the way it ended for Tim Hardaway in Miami, when he sort of was pushed to the side and then traded to Dallas and they realized his knees were shot, I still think some of that stings to a degree also. And here's my last point on this. So many former Heat players have been brought back into the fold. Keith Askins is their lead scout. Alonzo Mourning in charge of player programs. There's never been a position for Tim Hardaway, who has been an assistant coach with the Detroit Pistons, who currently is a scout with the New York Knicks. I think Tim is a little bitter about that also, that this Heat family, Heat culture, and they've done plenty for Tim. They help with his house. They help with his car wash when that business failed. But I think he's sort of looking for the full circle to get back. And because Tim is so free with his comments, I think the Heat are being a little bit cautious, because the one thing we know, when Tim Hardaway opens his mouth, you never know what he's going to say.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's just, but that stood out to me, man. I was like, wow, this is something really odd here, man. I got to tell you, but I'm happy he got his due. He deserves to get in. He was a great player. And I personally, I got to cover that era with you. And that was a lot of fun. I love that era. It sucks that they didn't. The problem is they don't have a championship, because it was a damn Jordan era too at the same time. And Jordan cock-blocked everybody. He cock-blocked the Cavs and Utah and the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, Karl Malone and John Stockton. It's not like they didn't have great careers. It's that MJ was there at every turn, including twice against them in the finals.
The Pacers, dude, that was one bad-ass team with the Davis boys and Reggie Miller and Rick Smits and all that. That was one hell of a team, dude, and they had no shot because of Jordan. The Cavs, with their three guys, with Larry Dance Nance and what's it called, Mark Price and
Brad Daugherty, yeah,
and Elo also. I mean, that was a hell of a team. There were a lot of really good teams in that era, including the Heat, and Jordan was in the way of everybody at that time. You know what I mean? It was just one of those things. It kind of sucked.
Championships are team accomplishments, especially in basketball. So you can't blame an individual player. Look at who the Heat were playing on the wing at that time. God bless guys like Vashawn Leonard and Dan Marley and maybe Mashburn to a degree, but they didn't have the dynamic wings that we've seen over the years are essential to success. So is it Tim Hardaway's fault that he didn't have a Reggie Miller to play with or a Michael Jordan to play with? It's a team factor. I think people who know the game don't begrudge the Barkleys, the Malones, the Stocktons, and understand it takes more. Just like in the NFL, there have been a lot of great quarterbacks, but there's Tom Brady in the way of all of them. And heck, we even saw that again last night.
Yep, no doubt. All right, Ira, anything being shuffled around here?
We're getting close to something here, Big O. Today, 2 weeks from today, is Media Day. 2 weeks from today is when Ira Winderman, depending when he gets off from work, Orlando Alzugaray, are going to go up to Tyler Hero and going, Tyler, you still don't have your extension. How do you feel now? Then the next day when camp starts, Tyler, you still don't have your extension. How do you feel now? First exhibition game. So the Heat are getting to the point where they either have to let us know what's going on, why it's going on, or you're going to have to ask about the Tyler Hero extension. And again, and I've written about this at the Sun Sentinel, this is nothing personal about Tyler. Once you sign him to an extension, you essentially, because of the poison pill in his contracts, cannot trade him till next July. This is more about every single day the Heat don't extend Tyler, it's more about telling you the Heat still think something big could come down the road. Early in the season, after December 15th, when free agents signed in the offseason could be traded, at the February trading deadline, Tyler is still stuck in the middle. I think the Heat think there are big moves to be made. Even with the Beals and the Lillards and the guys and the John Collins who were supposedly kept happy because of money and contracts, things change during the season. Wait till the Wizards start 3-12. Then we'll see how happy Brad Beal is. Wait till the Trailblazers start 2-14. Then we'll see how dedicated to Portland the Damian Lillard is. So, again, I think the Heat think another big thing is coming. And because of that, unfortunately, I think Tyler Hero gets stuck in the middle.
Yeah, and Damian's probably going to have a lot of trouble getting into the arena with all the homeless people that are blocking his way anyway. So, yeah, get out of Portland. It's kind of a mess. Anyway, follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Catch his work there at the South Florida Sunset. And, of course, you can catch him 3 times a week here. He'll be back on Wednesday with the Red Recover Inside the Paint Show. Ira, thank you, my friend.
One more thing, Big O. We're starting our series at the Sun Sentinel today, 5-35. I'm listing the 5 greatest of the Miami Heat. This is their 35th season. Pretty soon coming out online. The 5 greatest wins in Heat history. You probably can figure Ray Allen was part of one of those. So keep an eye out at sunsentinel.com. We'll talk about that on our redrecover.com, 9 a.m. Inside the Paint Show on Wednesday. And we'll talk about a whole bunch more lists on Friday in our next Acura Pembroke Pines report.
I'm sure that the expansion year when they beat Utah will be in there also, because they should have the picture of me carrying my wife, then girlfriend, on my shoulders running out of the arena. So that was fun, actually. I remember
tangled in all that hair back in the day. That's another story for another day.
That's a whole other story, buddy. Appreciate
Talk to you Wednesday. Thank you, Big O.
Thank you, Ira. Appreciate you. Thank you. There you go. That is your Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
This is the Big O Show.